Hi everyone, this is More and you are on the Everything We Will More podcast. On today's episode, we are going to be discussing about the consciousness to have if you want to have a successful year, if you want to ace your goals for this year, if you want to be successful in all of those goals that you've written out to accomplish this year. And I'd like you to work with me for the next 15 minutes as I take you through 5 guides that will help you to have a successful year. Number 1, your life, your choices, your life, your decisions. The worst thing that can happen to any adult is lacking the ability to know how to make sound decisions. I know this is where um, receiving counsels from mentors and from people that have gone ahead comes into play here. But before I go into that, any adult that lacks the ability to make sound decisions consistently has already been defeated. One of the things that indicates growth and maturity is that over time, you have by experience and exposure gone through processes in time that have strengthened your decision-making capacity. And this is what separates an adult from a child. A child will always be in the shadows of his parents or guardians. Now, these people make decisions for the child, and these people are going to be the ones to bear the brunt for the decisions on behalf of that child. But as an adult, in adulthood, you are no longer a child, and you must know how to stand on your own. Make decisions that count and be a person of yourself. Does this mean that you won't need counsel from mentors or people that have gone ahead? Of course you will. And that is exactly where I'm going to. Even when you seek counsel from others, you must know that the consequences of these actions, either negative or positive, rest on you. Because your conclusions, the information you gather from these people, they form your decision-making process. And from your decision-making process, you form the conclusion. Your conclusion giving you an action to do. You must settle it within yourself that whatever actions you're taking is on you and not on them. You must be able to stand by whatever the consequences of your actions are. For instance, you are currently working a job that perhaps for one reason or the other you are not comfortable with the job. Maybe the job is very demanding, or maybe your boss at work is so unnecessarily stressing you, or it's toxic. Maybe the work environment is toxic on you, and then you are at a point where you are thinking, should I leave this job? Should I not leave this job? By what you are going through, by emotions at that point in time, you might feel like, oh, let me damn the consequences, let me leave the job. And then maybe you will go ahead and talk to people like 2 or 3 persons, and somebody tells you, oh, leave, before you leave this job, make sure that you have something that you are doing, such that when you leave the job you have something to fall back on. And then somebody else tells you, oh no, leave the job, the boss is stressing you, is affecting your mental health, is whatever decision you decide to take in these scenarios must be something that you have thought out. So you tell yourself, so this is how to make a decision at that point. You tell yourself that if I make this decision of leaving this job now, and then I don't get a job in 2 or 3 months after, will I be able to cope? How will I get by in this moment of my joblessness? And then if you're going to make the decision of okay, I want to stay on this job, find something else that I will do when I leave this job before I go back, before I leave the job. You have analyzed, you've told yourself these are the likely things that will happen upon making this decision. You don't just make a decision and then the consequences happens. Maybe you leave the job, then 2 or 3 months after, you still don't have what you are doing, and then you start blaming the person that told you to leave the job. Like, oh, it was this person that told me. No, 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 no. In adulthood, there's no chance for that. You have to make sure this, whatever it is that your conclusions are based on the information that you've gathered from different sources. You must be able to call yourself to order and then analyze and tell yourself, okay, if the consequences, if this goes haywire, if shit is the fan, Will I be able to go through? Will I be able to manage the consequences of these actions? So your life, your choices, your life, your decisions. 2, never play the blame game. Never ever blame your misfortune on anybody. There are sometimes that we honestly, nobody wants to make a decisions and expect a negative outcome. But there are some times that you make decisions or people tell you what to do. Maybe because you're confused at that season, or anything can cause you taking advices from other persons. And then the repercussion of the outcome of those decisions are not favorable. Do not make the mistake of blaming anybody for your misfortune. Like, for instance, in the number one point that I said earlier on, that maybe you left the job because somebody told you to. And because at that point when you made that decision, you were also emotional, you were not thinking straight. And then a month or two into you leaving the job, and then you don't have anything to do in that particular point in time, you start blaming the person that told you to leave the job. You're like, God punished. You start blaming that person. What that will do to you is that it's going to take your focus of accountability away from yourself to that other person. Has the person been instrumental in you making that decision that didn't come out well? Yes. But who took that decision? You did. You made the decision. Remember, number one point is your life, your decision, your life, your choices. It's your life, it's your choice. You were not coerced into making the decision. You intentionally went for it. Even if you had done your assignment of analyzing what the outcome is or not. So when the consequences comes, either negative or positive, you must be ready to face it. Never take the accountability that you're supposed to put on yourself. Never put it on others by blaming them for your misfortune. Don't do that. See, what happens when you take accountability for your actions is that you start telling yourself that, oh, I messed up in this area. I shouldn't have done it like this. I should have done it better. It's going to help you to be better in making your decisions. So if you are not having conversations with yourself, so tell yourself that to analyze the better way that you can get things done, you are not going to grow. And you will not be able to have conversations with yourself on how better you can get stuff done if you keep throwing the blame on someone else. That means that when you throw the blame on someone else, you will not take accountability for your actions. You will not take accountability for your decisions, and you will not grow. Number 3 guide to a successful year is that God is not your last resort. I'll say it again. God is not your last resort. In the process of you seeking counsels from people that have gone ahead of you, from mentors, from counselors, from fathers, don't make the mistake of making God as the last option on your list. Actually, it should be that as an idea is forming in your mind, as you are having an insight to do something, you should turn to God next for full insight into that thing that is forming in your mind. And if you are unclear about anything that you need clarity about, God should be your go-to person. Some people, or some of us, let me just say some of us, we make the mistake of going to every other person to ask for counsel. And then when you've made those decisions and then those decisions are not favorable, that's when you now remember that, God, I've really honestly not run this decision through God. You now come back and run it through God. Don't make that mistake in this year. Don't make that mistake starting from now. God is not your last resort. It should be the first person on your list. It should be your go-to person at all times. Number 4 is that you are your biggest cheerleader. You are your biggest motivator. See, if you are still waiting for somebody to come and motivate you, or somebody to come and encourage you before you can do things, you're not going to grow. And if you by luck grow, you're not going to grow fast. You're not going to grow at a fast pace. I remember this place in scriptures that David and his men had gone. They had gone, and then they came back into the city. And then they found out that their wives, their daughters, their sons had been captured. And then in verse 6 of that verse, scripture says that, and David encouraged himself in the Lord. Already the people that were with him, they were already discouraged. Scriptures recorded that they had wept to the point where they had no more power to weep anymore. And then they were even already looking at David like, it'd be like saying we go stone this man. They were already frustrated. If David was waiting for those set of men that were already discouraged themselves to encourage him, they were not going to get anything done. But scriptures recorded that David encouraged himself in the Lord. So you cannot want to be successful and you are waiting for people to cheer you every time. Will it be that people will cheer you? Yes, they will cheer you once in a while, or sometimes, or many times. But there are some times that you will not see anyone to cheer you. You will not anyone to encourage you. You must know how to stand on your own and you must make yourself go through the discipline of getting things done. Either or not you are seeing encouragement, you must know how to go after your goals. Either or not people validate you or not, you are your biggest cheerleader. Every successful person knows this. They're not waiting for anybody to validate them. They're not waiting for anybody to encourage them. And so if you want to be successful, you must learn how to be your greatest cheerleader. And finally, number 5 guide to a successful year: focus. It's a one-word command: focus. Some people think that for them to be successful, they have to do many things at the same time. But what if I disclaim that? You can actually be successful on one thing when you learn the ability to focus. Focus means that setting your eyes to do a particular thing at a point in time, such that if distractions comes along the way, you're not taking your focus away from that agenda. You're not being tossed to and fro. You're not telling yourself, oh, this is the next big thing, let me leave this my assignment and go and do this one for a while and then come back. They say, the money is currently in the crypto market, and then you leave your farming, or you leave your farming, you leave your agriculture investment, and then you run after crypto. No. You're not going to succeed like that. You must learn how to be focused. Men of purpose are men of focus. Successful men have learned how to focus on a thing per time. That place in scriptures where Esther said, if I die, I die. That's the power of focus. Your eyes is set like a flint. In Joel chapter 2, he was saying that they will not break their rank. So the power of focus makes it so much that it doesn't matter what other people are doing beside you, by your side. You know that your goal is your goal and you are going headlong into it. So I have come to the end of my 15-minute journey that I promised you at the start of this video. Thank you for following till now. If you are a returning subscriber, I'm so glad that you are here. Thank you very much. And if you're listening to this for the first time, please subscribe. And if you're not yet subscribed as well, please subscribe. You can be assured of value content on this episode every week. So please put on your notification bell, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next episode. Bye.